Hello guys, welcome back. It has been way too long. I've been filming these videos for the past 3, 4, 5 weeks, however long it's been, but I haven't edited anything together. So what I've decided to do today is to wrap just probably like 5 giant announcements and recaps and all of that into one video here. So, just so you know what we're getting into, we are announcing a new paddle today. That is the big kind of highlight of this video. We finally have our foam paddle ready for submission. I'm gonna get to that towards the middle or end of this video. Hopefully I have timestamps and you can just skip ahead if that's all you care about. But I'm so excited that I finally have a version of our foam paddle we've been working on the past year and a half, probably more than that. You guys have been following along with me, so you could just watch old videos to see how many versions we've gone through, but we have the one we're ready to submit. Right now, you're seeing a lot of boxes packed in my truck right now. What's going on there is, one, I've just got to take a bunch of boxes to recycling, but I also am sending, this is probably the first big announcement, we'll say, I'm sending paddles into the Ace Pickleball chain. They're all over the United States. They're about to have 30 open locations. And what's awesome is we are joining their demo program. So there's 4 brands they pick every quarter. And for this next quarter, so starting Q4 of 2025 here, KiwiLabs Pickleball, our slice and our citrus paddle will be available to demo at all Ace locations. So excited about this. Great way, I get people wanting to demo our paddles all the time. Now we have a great way, at least for the next quarter here, to get our most popular paddles in people's hands. So if you live near an Ace or you know there's an Ace coming near you soon, that'll be a great way to try our paddles if you haven't yet. Anyways, yeah, lots of stuff to cover. We're gonna recap Beer City Open here in a second, but right now I'm pulling into the recycling center and we got some boxes to recycle. If you don't know, I also own a bike store, and let me tell you, these boxes fill up fast. Okay, done with bringing recycling back. Back at my store here to talk about paddles. Now, the first thing we're gonna go over is a new program we're doing. So if any of you are business owners or looking for custom paddles at all, I'm gonna leave my email. It's just larry@kiwipickleball.com. So what we've been starting to do with companies, and it's cool that we can turn these around fast and make these projects, is do custom paddles using our existing mold. So you can have a tournament legal paddle with your own custom branding on it, essentially, that we could turn around super quick and it's like you have your own custom paddle, but using one of our existing pre-approved paddles. We can also do it in a version where we, do something totally new, but mainly what we've been working on with people is just like taking our 00 Star or an affordable paddle that we can customize for folks and then, putting their branding on it. So I have a couple examples just to show you guys real quick. We just finished working with the Wasso Pickleball Club. So this is the same face as our 00 Star, but you're allowed to change the edge guard, handle, and even like the end cap here without having to get the paddle reapproved, as long as the face maintains what's already approved. So we worked with these guys to get their own custom paddle here. Similarly, we can do something, if you don't care about being approved, you could still use one of our molds but do your own custom designs. The example of that is actually this right here. So we worked with the upcoming film The Dink. It's a new movie coming out, and we made paddles for the cast and crew. They hired us to build these custom paddles to give to everyone. So all the actors, all the workers on set, they all got to have a custom paddle. So we've been doing this. Another example, I guess, is our Get Some paddle that we've worked with the folks at Get Some to do a version of our cannon that we started selling in our stores. So I just want to start opening the door in case anyone else is interested in something like that. Feel free to reach out, because that is something that we've now have a relationship with our factory where we can turn those around pretty quickly, actually. And I'm like, well, let's just, you know, offer this to more people then too. So there's another announcement. So if that sounds interesting at all, Larry at KiwiPickleball.com. Next, I'm going to be multitasking here. So I've got, let's see, 3 paddle orders that came in yesterday. So while I pack those up, I want to talk about Beer City Open. So I'll hopefully be cutting away to some of the footage I got just to kind of recap the event. First of all, if you are in Michigan next year, try to make it, because it is one of the best pickleball events possible. You get to be so up close to the pros and watching incredible games. I also played in the tournament, but that we're not really going to talk about right now. I did not perform to the level that I wish I could have, so we won't talk about that as much, but just being there, being around, like seeing pickleball at its maximum level, both in the performance of the players, but also in the just environment of like being around, okay, this is where pickleball peaks, this is where people who are the most passionate about the sport are at, this is where, you know, us vendors like myself, all the other people that are there, they're people who are taking pickleball at the most serious that they can, and being in that environment was just awesome. So I'm really excited that we were able to do that this year, and hopefully we'll do it next year as well, so I can't wait for that. One quick highlight that was pretty cool, so we actually met Rafa Hewitt, one of the pro players, and he bought a couple bikes for his ranch, which was really cool to kind of, you know, talk with him and get him hooked up with some bikes. So it was really fun. What else is there to say other than just, you know, what a cool environment to be able to hang out in and to be part of. I should have made more thorough content and made a more elaborate video around it. But you know, what can you do? There's just so much going on. I really need more of me. Anyone have a cloning machine? Please let me know, because I am in dire need of just one other me. That would be so helpful. Okay, now I have to go to the post office, but when I get back, which for you it'll be like 2 seconds, we're gonna talk about Project KiwiCore. Finally made it back, and we can talk about Project KiwiCore, for lack of a better name here. So this is what I've been playing with for the last month probably, and it's great. I'm finally ready to submit this and call this our next release, so I'm really excited. Let me just give you a quick tour of it. Now remember, I do all my prototypes with this hyper slice graphic. It won't have this exact graphic on it. This is just, you know, it's a protocol that I do. I just call every prototype hyper slice. It's the paddle that will never exist, essentially. But we'll go through, that's just me writing. What makes this so special anyways? So first of all, we'll get a tour of the face. So it's the same exact feel of a peel ply epoxy that you'd get on a T700 with the strands going down the center, but we're doing a 12K carbon. So it's a thicker weave, and my goal there is to make it just this much more, kind of visualize it like pliable. And that's to counter the high density core that's on the inside. Now it is a very high density foam core that needs to play well with the face, and with the straight T700, the stiffer carbon fiber, I almost felt like maybe they weren't necessarily fighting each other. However, it was you don't get the true softness that I feel like you can absorb and kind of like rechannel. I'm putting this into the words for the first time, so bear with me here, but long story short, we've experimented with both, and I just love the way that this 12K works with the foam in tandem. to give you, yes, it's powerful. It has the power that you hope for in a foam core, but it's pliable just enough to still shape your top spin really well, still be really controlled at the kitchen line without overpowering. Be able to just like, you know, slice drop from the baseline without trying. It's like, that's my favorite part about this, is being able to drop from back court. Like, I've never been able to do that as well as I can with this paddle, and it's because I can just slow down and let the paddle do the work. So it has the power for those kind of shots, and obviously drives too. I had to maybe learn to take, like, you know, down from 100 to 60%, we'll say, to not overpower it. And it did take a little learning, but once I just had a little patience and played with it for a week, I learned how to balance the control and power, and I don't know if I can go back to any other paddle. So it's not overpowered to the point where it won't get approved, which is, I think, you know, my biggest goal. And it's not too stiff, and it has just enough play. And we're gonna go with this hybrid shape. It is wider. It is basically the same width as our regular slice, but with the arrow curve top. So it's a true hybrid, we'll say. And yeah, so the face will look like this, the shape will look just like this, and you know, we'll have a new graphic and official name. So here's what things are gonna look like. Basically, we're gonna submit final graphics and name this week to our factory, who's gonna produce 25 of these paddles. Those are gonna go to hopefully reviewers and to USAP for approval, and that's that initial order. And then while we're waiting for approval, we'll be making, you know, the first, roughly, we'll say like 200 paddles. And I want to do something maybe a little different here. I'm going to open pre-orders for those paddles, and I'm going to do those pre-orders at $99. I think that's a way to, you know, that way it will be a wait, right? And they're not approved yet. So I want to give something, you know, you'll get the paddle no matter what, but we are going to be waiting for approval. So we'll still ship the paddle the second we have inventory, but we'll be waiting on approval. And we're going to do those paddles for $100. And if that sounds interesting, go for it, sign up. We're going to cap it at that first initial order. And then once those are fulfilled, we have our actual first order of them in after approval, the price is probably going to go to about $180-ish. I think that's what we're going to sell this for. I want it to be competitive. I don't want to, you know, overprice it, but it is a little more expensive for me to make these paddles, so I can't charge the $150 like we do with the slice and our other paddles. So that's what it's going to look like at the time of this video. Hopefully you can go to the website. One, we have that sale going on right now, so if you want any of our back catalog, it's definitely the best time, maybe until Black Friday, which we'll do a similar sale to get a slice, to get a circuit, to get any of our legacy paddles. And then I'm also going to be having that pre-order up there, but I only get it if you don't mind waiting, because like I said, there's still a decently long process. However, I want to reward my supporters and the people who are interested in this paddle. So we're gonna do it that way. It's a little unorthodox maybe, and yeah, I don't want you to feel any pressure to go do that, but it is an opportunity if you would like to do that. So that's it. I'm so stoked on this thing. I don't know what else to say. If you've been watching the videos, you've seen all the versions that we've done. Let me go grab them for the sake of it. This one is not cut open, but this was essentially a hybrid of the harder EPP foam that's more popular, with cells filled, like a cut open cells in that paddle filled with a different foam. It wasn't bad, but not as good as what we ended up with. And then we had this foam, which we immediately, it played okay, I'm not gonna lie, but there's no rebound. It's extremely stiff, but if it's dented, foam doesn't come back to life. I think this is the polystyrene. Very dense, and it holds its own, so it hit pretty well, but it's long term, I just don't see it working very well. I also got the face off of this one really easily when I was cutting it open, so the adhesion between the face and the foam just, yeah, long term, I don't see anyone adopting that foam technology. And then this one was my favorite, where I did my own custom design in the foam for cutaways. But frankly, we just didn't want to encroach on carbon as much. It's a little too similar to what they were doing. So that, and I felt like it was honestly just way too powerful. I don't think it would pass the new KiwiCore test. It was fun. It was a really fun paddle, but it was too much. And then as for what's in this one, it is using the EPP foam. It is, there is some EVA in here as well. As for the actual layup and the cutaways, we'll save that for another video. We'll talk about that down the road. Bam, but it's here. All right, long video, but long overdue as well. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.